Radhe Radhe. Welcome to the beginning of another live Sangha. May this be an offering to Sri Radha Krishna. And welcome to another ASMR Sunday with the focus of spiritual relaxation, affirmation, validation. I will try my best not to go too high into any esoteric philosophy or mentally stimulating topic so that we can focus on being at ease. Other than that, and my speaking softly, I hope that it is a totally regular live stream for you. So as we await our first guests to arrive, allow me to set the intention for this space as being a welcoming environment, open for everyone, regardless of background, identity, orientation, belief system, regardless of anything which may divide us on the surface. Let us be united at heart. And thank you, Tattvamasi. Hello. And thank you for blessing us with a quintet of roses so early on in our Sangha. Jai Nisargadatta Maharaj. And hello, Valentina. Thank you for your trio of finger hearts you have sent. There's 1, 2, and 3 finger hearts back to you. Hare Krishna. And hello, Dob Darker. Thank you for your heart mito. Hello, Willie. You're wondering, where am I from? I'm from Canada. And hello, Celia. You're wondering, what's on my sock? Well, look at my username, and that'll give you a hint. I don't want to spoil it. Hello, Bailey. Hello, dear Chloe. Hello, strange girl, bone collector. My hair looks juicy, does it? Well, I did just go to the shower. What part of Canada? The West Coast. Thank you for being receptive to it, Candy. I trust that those who are joining, I hope you all are feeling okay. And if you're not, you can let me know too. This too shall pass, and things will feel okay. Good evening, fun to watch too. Hello, that guitar guy. That's funny, Stevie. I love you too. Willie, you shared that you lived in Calgary when you played in the CFL. That's very interesting. I was born in Calgary. Bailey, you share you're missing your son terribly. As any mother would. That's very understandable. This is hopeless. You're wondering what has been the highlight of my week or day? Well, recently I got some sleep supplements that have really been helping. So, highlight of my night is that I've been sleeping better. And that's so important. I've never been so happy to get to bed. Hello, Tyler. That's right. Calgary is famous for its stampede, which funny enough, I've never gone, even though I grew up there. Noah, you share. You're not a regular around here. So what religion or what type of spiritual validation do I mean? Whatever you'd like. If you're someone who doesn't identify with any path, no problem. If you want to be affirmed in your faith, whatever it is, that's great too. My favorite kind of spirituality is an all-inclusive one, where we accommodate the various traditions. Sure, there's lots of differences between them, but there's lots of similarities too. I'm focused on the similarities. That's funny, Batty. I don't think I'm that flexible. Legoshi, you share that you wish you could learn how to forget your past trauma. You ended up stopping your car and let the tears flow. That's beautiful. Any time in which you take to cry is a beautiful moment. Although we can't forget trauma, we can learn to forgive and heal from it. And one day, you'll look back at those memories and there will be a kind of peace. Not because you validate the trauma that occurred to you, but because you validate all the feelings that have arisen from that experience. Letting the tears flow is how you embrace this transformation undertaking. And hello, Ragnhildur. Thank you for your cloud bread. Welcome. I'm doing well today, thank you. Jai Sitaram. Hello, Victoria. This is hopeless, you're wondering. Do I believe in aliens? Well, I think we're aliens, you know? It's like other people around the world, they have accents, they're foreigners. But to them, we're the ones with an accent. We're the ones who are foreigners. So too, to all the aliens, we're the aliens, aren't we? Hello, aesthetically feral. You're wondering, what's my favorite type of ASMR? My favorite type of ASMR, the one that usually gets me to sleep, is fast-paced exploration of sounds. Like tapping. I love tapping. That sort of thing. Hello, Alicia. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Shannon. Kate, you share that you're a dragon. Yeah, I have days like that too. Sometimes we just open our mouth and fire comes out. We don't know what to do. Some days we just can't get out of our cave, sleeping on all our valuables because we're scared to be vulnerable. Other times we stretch out our wings and we fly. There's lots of ways we are like dragons. And no, Willie, this is my only schooling and work, because I learned from you all and I hope to serve you all. Tom, you're wondering, how long have I been involved in spirituality? Since I was born, I guess. How long have I had a spirit? No answer. Hare Krishna. Hello, Anna. Now, I like to start my lives with the question of the day, if you're interested. It's a tough one. I'm not sure if any of you will be able to answer it adequately. But maybe you can prove me wrong. You can tell me if you're ready to hear the question of the day. Sometimes I like to ask more philosophical questions. Sometimes I like to test your spiritual knowledge. Today I'm wondering from you, have you forgotten that you're enough? Have you? Have you forgotten that you're enough? That you don't need anything more to be? You're whole just as you are? You forgot Kate? You don't know Chloe Evans? Well, that's okay. Definitely. There's Vanessa. Yeah, 100% sure Shannon. Yes, sure Shandon. Fun to watch you share that you can't say you ever knew. It's a good point. You think so, Sleepy Panda Baby? Hello, Eileen. Much love to you too. Hugh, you ask, but what if you want to grow still? You're enough in the fact that you are growing. You are enough in the fact that you are healing. You are enough as you transform and change. Not a single moment in time, but a continual unfolding. In that, you are always enough. You are enough in all that you have still to do. You are enough until you get there too. Tom, you're wondering, what makes someone enough? It's just a fact. You're already enough. In fact, there isn't someone that isn't enough. Truly. You are enough, Tom Gilbert. Hello, Anna. Aesthetically feral, you share that you were ready to fall asleep, but guess you'll be spiraling. Am I enough? You ask yourself. Well, it's a simple answer. Yes. Ragnhildur, you share yes, and you're thanking me for reminding you. Oh, someone's got to do it. Tatomasi, you share every day. Then you remember some nights, then forget again. Hello, baby bunny. Linda, you share that I have helped you through so many nights with anxiety. Oh. Thank you for allowing me to relate in your experience. Kate, you share that you are enough as a dragon. And this is hopeless. You share it's hard to remember when you have all this content thrown at you about how you can be better. Absolutely. Can be difficult, especially when we place our sense of self in all those ways which we can be better, that we don't feel enough until we're better. But the secret to happiness is this, that even if there are things which we can do to improve, it doesn't mean that we're less than, because the process is what's most important. If we are committed to being better, then that's all it means to be enough, isn't it? Not some state of being, but a gradual opening And we are all doing that as best we can. Lindsay, you share you did for a while, but you're slowly finding a new self. Or maybe the original self that may have been forgotten. Magdalene, you share often. You do forget. So grateful to feel enough when you do. And hello, Anna and Anna's cat. LOL, you share that your neighbor said that to you one day as you were going through heavy hardship. Oh. You are welcome, Shandon. That is a good observation, Moral. My hair is indeed wet. And Eileen, you share that when you're out in nature you feel enough, but if you're at work with some people you don't. Or with some people. Well, you just remember that you are part of that nature that you feel enough in. You are Mother Earth herself in this body, in this form. That way you can take nature wherever you go. And aesthetically, Farrell, you share it so hard. It's always, when I'll get this or that, I'll be complete. But it's never enough. That's the trick, eh? Nothing in this world can make us feel enough. We have to decide in our own nature, in spirit, in soul, in consciousness that we are whole. Baby bunny, you share you never feel enough. It's hard. Wow. I hope to empower you to make it easier on yourself that it's easy to be enough when you already are it. And thank you, Merle, for sending peace and love to all of us beautiful souls watching and sharing this moment with you. Thank you for being here, Eileen. Hello, Jacqueline. All right. Thank you, everyone, for exploring this question of the day with me. And thank you, Native Girl, for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Eileen, thank you for your pair of roses. Radhe Radhe. And Hugh, thank you for your heart me. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. And thank you, Jacqueline, for your finger heart. I'd like to read a short question. No, I just did that. What did I minimize? I minimized that instead. I'd like to read from a short section of our book. Hello, dear Pranali. You share that you are suffering from health anxiety. I know what that feels like. Remember that a strong mind can carry a weak body, but not the other way around. You could have the most physically fit body on the planet, but if your mind is unhealthy, you won't get out of bed that day. But you could have the most unhealthy body on the planet, but if your mind is determined enough, you can go and conquer the day. Remember this, that your body is a vehicle, and your mind is its driver. And a good driver is always able to use what they have at hand, even if it's someone name a crappy car. I'm not saying you have one. I don't know my cars. Even if it's a car with 3 wheels and one of the brakes don't work well and one of the cylinders in the engine is failing. Good driver is able to take their car, especially to a shop, get your car fine-tuned, make sure that your car is nice and healthy. And good morning, premonitions. And thank you, DK Landlover. PW, you ask, am I Hindu? Geographically, no. In spirit, I believe that there is no greater gift to the world than the kind of spirituality that came from the Himalayas, that flowed from the mountain tops and eventually was called Hinduism. But I don't consider myself confined by any label. I like to keep my identity nice and open, free, unattached. Whatever you see me as, that I am to thee. And am I familiar with Ram Dass asks, this is hopeless? You mean the previous professor at Harvard, Dr. Richard Alpert, who later became known as Ram Dass under the guidance of his guru, the Blanket Baba, Neem Karoli Baba? No, I haven't heard of them. Thank you, Talula, for your 20 roses. Radhe Radhe. Oh, that's right. This cover is a bit big, isn't it? Here, I can make it a little smaller. Anyway, we are going to read from another section of this book, In Love at Ease. I see we have some questions still ongoing, and let's put a pin in them and we'll get back to them after we finish reading. I think this is our last reading because this is the last few pages of this book. And then we'll be beginning a new book next time. This has been quite a journey. So, I believe this is our final reading of In Love at Ease, Everyday Spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. For those who don't know, he was a spiritual guru and president of an international organization that has done a lot of humanitarian work all around the world. This book was not about the organization or the tradition that he followed, but about how he was in love and at ease all of the time, and how we can too, regardless of our background. So, it ended with the author in an airport, I believe, in Egypt. He was flying back to New York, and he started crying, remembering his guru, Swamishri, that passed away a year ago at the time of this story. And this sheikh, this Muslim spiritual leader, was also crying because he was standing over the shoulder of Yogi, watching a tributary video on Yogi's phone. And Yogi was confused why he was crying. I don't even know you. And he mentioned that actually he had met Swamishri many years ago. So they were talking about his guru. Yogi was relating to him a story of when his guru apologized to him. I started to cry, Sheikh Sahib, This was the 4th time my guru was apologizing to me. And for what? Because I had failed to go for his darshan on the day that disciples venerate their gurus in the Hindu tradition? Because I need to work on my ego and expectations? I continued to weep silently on the phone, and a few seconds later, I could hear Swamishri gently sniffle. Both of us, guru and disciple, teared up together. I told him that I would be there for darshan in the morning. Swamishri's voice softly crackled as he spoke. When you can, no rush. Just know that whether we are physically together or not, you are never alone. God and Guru, spiritual source, and teacher are always with you. Senior sadhus, senior monks such as Mahant Swami, Ishwar Chananda Swami, and the other bhaktas are always with you. The sheikh was holding my trembling hand as I basked in the joy of the memory of my guru with shades of torment from separation. In that moment, I had an awakening of sorts, and it presented itself here before me. Swamishri had fulfilled his promise. He was always with me. Almost 9,000 kilometers away from home and about 3,000 kilometers away from the closest BAPS Swaminarayan Mandir in Nairobi, Kenya, I found my guru. I felt his presence. Yes, Swamishri's presence was within me, but it was also around me. I found a sense of community with people in every corner of the world. Swamishri's life did not just speak to the Swaminarayan community or the broader Hindu community, but resonated with humanity at large. He built bridges to people's hearts and minds by experiencing the divine within them and disregarding the differences of external station and appearance in society. It was his focus on the inner self and the divine that allowed for him to transcend his own identity as a Hindu Swaminarayan monk to connect equally with all of creation. The sheikh flight was announced, and it was time for him to depart. What is your name, son? We exchanged names and hugs. Yogi, he said, one more thing. Have you thought about why your guru kept apologizing to you over a span of 3 decades? I was silent. I had never thought about it. I just believed what my friends and peers had surmised. He loved you. You were sensitive. He did not want to hurt you, or you expected too much. The sheikh found deeper significance. Your guru apologized to you because he wanted to keep you close. It was his language of love with you. He wanted you to have the opportunity to laugh and cry with him. He wanted you to remember these interactions. He wanted you to know that these moments would keep him close to you just as he was keeping you close to him. Swamishri walked with millions by being part of their everyday lives from their childhood to the moment of their passing on. Interactions with Swamishri are meant to sustain the Guru's presence within. They act as guideposts and companions on the spiritual journey. Swamishri was not far. He lived in these memories. The sheikh was not done. Also, your guru was teaching you how to love, respect, and heal yourself and others. The sheikh spun his carry-on bag on its wheels as he prepared to leave. He wanted you to bridge the divide with others in the way that he had. It was a lovely lesson in what is possible if we love, and the two of us have done that today. The Sheikh and I had learned together, albeit distinctly through our own personal interactions with Swamishri. Charitras, or interactions with the Guru, are a relatable source of spiritual learning. These interactions are not from a distant past, nor are they from a mountainside monastery, but they are from the streets and homes of cities and towns that we live in. These interactions are relevant in that they teach us how to communicate and cooperate in home life and workplaces and everywhere in between. Swamishri's life is a roadmap for everyday spiritual living. Finally, these interactions are effective because they are multivalent. Like scripture, each interaction is open to interpretation according to the seeker's journey. Though each interaction in this book has been classified in a themed chapter or with a specific spiritual lesson, a seeker can easily find numerous lessons from Swamishri's words and actions. I made what I could of each interaction. I hope that the readers will find their own lessons. Spiritual reflection, antardrishti, is an intellectual exercise above all else. Thought is the first step in making the effort to improve and progress on the spiritual path. One must think through the actions and ideas one is emulating to advance in one's spiritual maturity. For Swamishri, it was not enough for people to merely be religious or call themselves spiritual without implementing these lessons in their day-to-day interactions. Without this transformation, one goes through the motions of ritual, community belonging, and even service and worship without advancing on the spiritual intimacy with the inner self, the Atman, the Guru, and the divine, the Paramatman, the higher self. Swamishri's lessons of eyeless and all-embracing love, bhakti and seva, loving devotion and selfless service, result in a state of ease, a constant communion with the divine. They allow one to live here while experiencing there. Swamishri's spiritual lessons do not just prepare people for tomorrow, they prepare them for today, for now. They empower people to experience moksha, spiritual transcendence in the everyday, to be in love, at ease. Spiritual masters are unforgettable. They are eternal. Reflecting on Swamishri's life while writing this book helped me realize that I am not alone. I never would be. Swamishri walked with me then and is walking with me now. He continues to give. My memories of his smiles, laughs, tears, frowns, and drops of sweat bring me one step closer to being in love, at ease. For Swamishri, in the joy of others lies our own. Living this and inspiring it for over a century is why he is humanly divine. And with that, we are finished with this book, reading the 360th page, one for every degree in a circle. A well-rounded book this has been. So I'm very grateful for Sky Guardian for sending that book for us to read. And I'm very grateful for Yogi, the author, for letting us read this whole book live. And in my email interactions with him, he said something really beautiful that stood out to me, that as he continues to reflect on his own words writing this book, he said that he has discovered that he never wrote the book. Swamishri did. And that touched my heart. So thank you deeply for listening. If we are very lucky, Yogi Trivedi, the author, has generously accepted to have an hour of his time away from his PhD dissertation to allow me to interview him just for our Sangha. He has not accepted any other invitation for the last year, so it's a deep honor. If something comes up, it's okay. I have no expectations, but if you all had any questions that you'd like for me to relay to Yogi, now that we've finished the book, the only way to know more is to ask the man himself. So please let me know. Thank you. Namaste. Jai Swaminarayan. And now we can return to our regular format. I am delighted to discuss with all of you whatever is pertinent to you. Namaste, Lando. Hello, Freya. Now, many of you sent some gifts while we were reading, so do allow me the honor of extending my gratitude back to you, now that I have a moment. Dasha, thank you for your heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. And heart emoji, unicorn emoji, heart emoji. Thank you for your cloud bread, your ice cream cone, heart me, community fast, and a gimme the vote. Jai Satchit Anandam. Gina. Thank you for your heart me. Radhe Radhe. And Isabella. Thank you for your trio of roses. Hare Krishna. Transcendent Luminescence. Thank you for your friendship necklace. 62 cloud breads. And 23 roses. Om Kring Kalikaye Namaha. John, thank you for your tiny. Yippee! And John F., thank you for your heart me. Jai Sitaram. Thank you, Marcy, for your cake. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. And thank you, Alisho, for your trio of whipped coffee. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Thank you, Jake, for your rose. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. And thank you, Lauren, for your tiny. Yahoo! So welcome, everyone. Tyler, you shared that you have been going through a lot lately, and you have been so helpful. I'm always happy to be here for you. Welcome, dear Priscilla. And thank you, Transient Luminescence, for another fortnight's worth of roses. Hare Rama. G2 Infinity, you share to all the Sangis here tonight. You feel so proud to be sharing this time with you all. That's beautiful. I'm always happy to have such a wonderful community here. Hello, Anazak. And hello, dear Shakira. Thank you for wishing a fun and peaceful Sunday to me. I think I'm going to play some pool with my father. So That'll be fun after this. And I'm happy you like my storytelling trenchant. I certainly get it from my mother, who was an excellent storyteller herself. And thank you for your baker's dozen worth of roses in addition too. I hope you all are feeling as well as you can in this moment. Namaste, Barbara. Starlight Wow, you're wondering, what are my father's spiritual beliefs? He's very open and undefined. I think the only term I've ever heard him describe himself as is agnostic, but he loves having discussions with me about philosophies and spirituality. He's the one listening, which is really unique. You know, normally it's, the father-son relationship where he sits me down and starts talking about his philosophy. But something really interesting about my father is that he doesn't really have one. I love talking to him about philosophy and spirituality, and he listens and he asks questions. He's just curious about it. But he never states what he believes or doesn't believe. My mom is similar in a different way. Right now, my father is getting into Stoicism. So I bought him Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, very famous book. And he's been enjoying that so far. Thank you, Delilah, for your fruit friends. It's very cute. I love fruit. I do consider them like friends too. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Jason, thank you for your pair of tiny tinies. Yippee! And Trenchant, thank you for your heart meat too. Radhe Radhe. And Nervar Moon and Star, nice to see you again. Thank you for your rose too. And thank you, Lauren. And it is a wonderful reminder that our time with our parents can be very precious, given that they may not be in our lives forever. Aw, Freya, you just said bye to your friend who's going back to his country, and you're feeling so sad and thankful of life. Those are some big feelings. Absolutely. That guy, JB, you're wondering, do I believe in God? Tricky question. It's tricky because there's so many different definitions for God. Not all of them I'd say yes to. Not all of them I'd say no to. In many languages, there's many different words for God. English just has one, and so it takes the role of so many different ideas simultaneously. It can almost become overloaded. I find that a lot of conversations on God get confused really quickly because one person is using the word in one way and another person is using the word in another way. And both of them believe that they're talking about the same thing, but they're actually using the same word to describe different parts of their experiences uniquely. So I believe that saying yes would validate some people's perspectives here, but invalidate others. saying no would do the same thing. So I'll put it like this. Do I believe that this universe came from somewhere? Yeah. And do I have reverence for wherever it came from? Absolutely. Since everything must have been a part of that source, then this consciousness too. So there must have been some consciousness in the beginning in order for it to continue to this day through all of us. I believe in that. I believe that every religion has a unique way of going about describing that source, going about the path to illuminate our minds, our hearts with knowledge and love for that source. I think it's the ultimate goal of human life in one sense, to come to understand why we are here. And I love the diversity and how many different approaches there are to answering that question. Now thank you, Anazek, for your trio of roses. Thank you, that guy JB. And thank you, John F, for your friendship necklace, finger hard, and a tiny, tiny Yahoo! And Lou Daniel, thank you for your pair of rosas and a rose. Hare Krishna. I love all this wonderful community interaction. It's so sweet. Leo, you share my family sounds beautiful. There's a lot of beauty in it. And there's a lot of ugliness in it too. Don't let me fool you by speaking highly of them. You'll just never find me speaking lowly of them, because that's not my style. I only have good things to say about others, and I leave their faults alone. My family is just as dysfunctional as the next. But that doesn't mean I love them any less. Thank you, Vanessa, for your trio of roses. Radhe Radhe. Now, meh, it's Pidge. You are very generous today, as you always are. It's humbling. You have sent a gift to not just Lou Daniel, but to Sheesh Gremlin, Hazel Isabel, Alicia, and user 713. I think it's wonderful that I have this ability to connect with you all in the ways that I am able to. And I'm honored to have that opportunity extended by you, Mehid's Pidge, to all these wonderful guests that I recognize. And in any capacity that they allow me to be there for them, that's my honor. So thank you, Mehid's Pidge. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And Tyler, thank you for your heart me. This is hopeless, you ask. Do I believe that we choose our parents when we are born? Why don't I tell you a story about that, relating to my own parents? This story starts with a dream. One thing to know about my dreams is that they often have a narrator. Do any of you have narrators in your dreams? I don't know if I'm alone in that regard. It's fun. My narrator is very wise for some reason. So in this dream, I was above my childhood house of my parents, and I could see through the walls and ceiling. There was a narrator, and this was the first time that I think I really saw the narrator. They were like a ghost, like a spirit. And I don't want to tell you what my parents were engaging in, but let's just say that the narrator was telling me that this was something that happened in the past. I was looking at a memory, and they said, you were above the house when this happened, and this is when you decided if whether you wanted these people to be your parents or not. And I asked lots of questions, like, does this mean that I will go in her womb right now? And the spirit told me, no. You will wait until your body is finished being made. You will enter the womb, and then your mother's water will break, and she will birth you. So, you will be taken into the body of your mother's womb the moment of your birth, the day of your birth. Until then, you will watch them, and you will guide the process of creating your body. Now, I'm not an easily fooled person. I am a very skeptical person. And even in my dream, I knew it was a dream, so I asked the spirit. I said, how could you prove to me that this is really what happened? And the spirit said something that changed the way I understand my dreams forever. The spirit said, when you wake up, ask your mother this question. Was it snowing? Was it snowing? I had no idea what this means. I thought, weird. Alright, might as well. So when I woke up, guess what I did? I forgot. I forgot the dream, I forgot the question. Now, I did go into town with my mother that day, and on the way back home we were talking about parentage and spirits, and she reminded me of my dream when she said, you know, some people believe that they choose their own parents. My dream came back to me, and with it the question. So while we were making an turning on an intersection, I said, I explained this dream to her. And she said, wow, that's very interesting, you know. Clearly, a good part of her attention was on the road driving. It was just another dream for her, very beautiful. I explained that the spirit had a question for her. She was interested. Yeah, tell me the question. So I said, was it snowing? I don't know what it meant to her, this question. But immediately her tone shifted. She even started slowing down her driving. It's like all of her awareness was suddenly permeating this dream that I told her. And she started to cry. And still, to this day, I have no idea what that question even means. But as tears were rolling down her cheek, all she said in a broken voice was, your dreams are revealing too much, Liam. That's my name. I had a deep breath, and we drove home. So I don't know what that dream meant to her, but to me, it was very powerful. So I learned a couple things from this dream. One, that if this is truly a first-hand experience on the nature of life and death, then we do indeed choose our parents. And two, the soul enters the body the day of the birth. I'll let you think about the consequences that might have. But that was my dream that had a narrator that spoke to me, and that seemed to really move my mother to tears. So that's my answer to the question. Now, thank you, Peter Schaefer, for your rose a minute ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Kelsey, thank you for your heart me. Radhe Radhe. Tyler, you share, oh man, I just dreamed that I forget my pants. I do that too, don't worry. I have a lot of ridiculous dreams, just as many as I do profound ones. Do I have any other experiences like that? Asks This Is Hopeless. Oh, I'm sure if we went through the old jukebox of memories, we could find a couple more. But yeah. Enough for me. Was it snowing? What a question that is, isn't it? My guess, this is just my guess, but I'm guessing that my mom had some spiritual experience that involved snow. Maybe she felt me in her womb for the first time when she looked outside and it was snowing or something. I don't know. Some people have dreams of the future. I seem to have dreams of the past. Hello, Will. You share that my revelation may be comforting to those who lose a child pre-birth. That is a very beautiful corollary that I hadn't thought about before. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Aurora, for your tiny yippee. And thank you, Trenchant Luminescence, for another 7 roses from you. But you are also just like a rose, as you blossom with such a perfume. But if anyone grabs you the wrong way, you're all thorny, right? Thank you, Laurie, for your heart me too. Radhe Radhe. And Gulai, thank you for your rose. And thank you, Mehidspij, for your hanging lights and heart me. Hari Om Tat Sat. Dansuela, you liked the story of my dream where I stood on a table and exclaimed something. You recall? It was amusing. Oh yeah, that was a funny one. Yeah, that was this was a joke dream. So the dream goes like this. I walked into a bar. No, seriously, there was a bar in my dream. I walked into a bar and I stood up on the table and I said, everyone who's down for gravity, please stand up. And then we all started floating. It's such a stupid joke. Everyone who's down for gravity, please stand up. That was my dream bar joke. I don't know where that came from. Thank you, Mehitspij, for your hanging lights and heart me. And Laurie, thank you for your fire and 6 roses. Om Shri Mahalakshmaya Namaha. Rachel, you share that you dream bad past experiences, but as you are now, then put them right. What does this mean? You are healing your subconscious. Our subconscious is the collection of all impressions in it, like memory foam. You know, if you have a really heavy object sitting on your memory foam for a long time, if you take it off, the impression remains for quite some time. So in order to make things nice and smooth and still, and we squish our memory foam, we pat it, make it nice and flat and even. I think we can do the same thing with our dreams, since it's one way in which we directly interface with our subconscious. Squishing out the impressions in the memory foam, making it softer for us. I think that's beautiful. That's shadow work. And thank you, Kais Karim, for your 18 roses, plus another 100. Welcome, my friend, and another 50. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Giselle, you share that last night you had a dream about a flat plain with purple grass and a colorful sky. That's beautiful. I would have loved to witness that. Thank you, Vanessa, for your tiny Yahoo! Dan tutorial. Who's Sam? That's my brother. Yam Sam. You're asking Tan, is it a good decision taking a civil engineer course though you studied social study in high school? If that's what you want to do, of course. I know many people that change their minds even 4 years into their degree. There was someone who spent 4 years studying computer science that I went to school with, and just before he got his degree, he said, you know what? Actually, I want to become an actor. And so he took acting classes instead. Spent the next 4 years studying acting, theater. I think that's wonderful, you know? It's your life, you get to choose. Thank you, Stephen, for your quintet of tinies. And your finger heart and 20 roses. Radhe Radhe. And Rachel, thank you for your quintet of roses. Jai Sita Rama. Gulai, thank you for your rose too. And Kais Karim, thank you for your 42 roses as well. Hare Krishna. You're wondering, what happens to animals and insects when they die? The answer to what happens to any being when they die is answered in the 6th verse of the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. Yes. 6th verse of the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. What is the Bhagavad Gita, you might wonder? It is a divine song, Bhagavad Gita. It was sung on the battlefield of Kurukshetra in the great Mahabharatam war 5,160 years ago. Just before this huge battle commenced, a song was sung in between the two forces. And the song was an exposition on spirituality, on the nature of life and death, on the soul and consciousness and ultimate liberation, and the path to peace, happiness, and merger with the divine. What a remarkable place for this song to be sung, and it has stood the test of time. In the 8th chapter of this song, the 6th verse describes exactly how the process of reincarnation works, just in one verse. Whatever state of being one remembers in the end, while giving up their body, O Kaunteya, that very state they will attain because of their persistent thought of it. So, if on the deathbed you're thinking, man, I should have gave that girl in high school another chance. Well, in your next life, you'll probably have another chance with that girl, just in another life, both of you. If on your deathbed you're thinking, oh, I never did get that $1 million. In your next life, that's your soul contract. If you're thinking, wow, I just loved my dog so much. Your next life, you'll be born as a wonderful puppy. If just before you die, you're thinking, oh, these mosquitoes all around me, why won't they just go? Well, you're going to be born as a mosquito, I'll tell you that for free. So, for most animals, they will probably just be born as another animal, likely their own self, because they're just in self-preservation mode. Most animals exist in that state. But if a little mosquito's looking in your eyes as you squat him, well, that's going to be their last thought. And a body just like yours is going to be their next one. Or a pet that looks into your eyes. A puppy or a cat that loved you their whole life because of their persistent thought of it. So, this 6th verse of the 8th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, our final thought forms our soul contract for the next life. You can consider it like this. In empty space, in a vacuum, if you were to throw anything, a rock, a paper airplane, a screwdriver, it's going to continue in the direction that you last held it at. And it'll continue going that way because of Newton's laws of motions. Until another force is acted on it and it goes in another direction. Same is true for us. That our final thought is the last jumping off point. We can only go, consciousness can only be propelled in the direction of that final thought. That thought becomes your subtle body, and then a physical body is created in the womb that is along that trajectory of that thought. However, it doesn't just apply to physical births and deaths. If you keep the highest of the all high, if you think just about source at the end of life, you may call that God, then you will merge with that. This is your key to attaining a positive afterlife or a negative one. You want to be in heaven in your next life or hell? What you keep in your mind at the time of death is the most important. And that is the sum total of all thoughts across your whole life, isn't it? whatever you think of for most of your life, that is likely going to be your last thought too. And thank you, Trenchant, for your confetti. Hari Om Tat Sat. And this is hopeless, you ask, what about those who die unexpectedly? Such is why it is always important to keep good thoughts in mind then, isn't it so? Because if death can strike at any hour, then we might as well keep our mind happy at all times. It's your life insurance policy. It's your good thoughts. Mr. Mate, you ask, what if we are sleeping when we pass away? Then it will be whatever the most dominant impression was before you entered deep sleep, likely in your dream state. This was discussed during the reading of the Vachanamrut, actually, another spiritual scripture. Imagine having a nightmare. Yeah, Mr. Mate, that's why it's so important to heal our subconscious too. Do the therapy needed, the shadow work to make our subconscious full of love and positivity too. Spiritual path takes a lot of work. It's a lifelong commitment. Now, Rachel, you're wondering, do I believe Spirit can send us signs? Well, we have to really define what Spirit means. You are Spirit. That's your essential essence. The essential essence of all beings is Spirit. So are you sending yourself signs? I'll tell you this one thing. The universe can be a bit of a smartass sometimes. What we ask for the universe, it will give us. But we have to be careful of what we're asking for. I used to look for signs in order to feel validated. You know, if ever I was to make a decision, I'd say, oh, please send me a sign so that I know I'm making the right decision. Or whenever I'd go anywhere, I'd look for a sign to know which part of the street to cross at. But it ended up biting me in the ass, and I'll tell you why. Because the universe does not want us to do this. It wants us to be empowered in our own decisions, because we are the ones that make our decisions right, not the universe. A decision is not made right according to some rule book where the universe is hoping that you choose this one and not that one. The universe says, I want you to make everything right, regardless of what you do in life. I want you to be empowered in your own free will. So because of that, the universe starts sending us signs that mess with us. It'll send us good signs in both directions or bad signs in both directions. I remember I started seeing this sign that I was going to die. I would see skulls everywhere, and I'd see the number 17, 17, 17 everywhere. And I was 17. I thought, this is going to be my last my last year. I'm not going to turn 18 because I'm seeing all these skulls and the number 17. Clearly the universe is telling me that I'm going to die. So I had a very terrible birthday because I was so scared that I was going to die. I was crossing my fingers. I was saying, oh my goodness, please let my heart keep beating. When 12 a.m. happened, I didn't die. When 8:08 in the morning happened, time I was born, I didn't die. And when the next day happened, I didn't die. And when the last part of the world was no longer on October 1st, 2019, I didn't die. So clearly, I had no qualifications to be looking for signs. Come to think of it, it was nearing Halloween, and people were just setting up Halloween decorations. Of course I'm going to see skulls. Come to think of it, the highway near my house was highway number 17, so of course I'm going to see 17. In fact, because I was looking for signs, I was the one finding meaning in my surroundings. And I had created a negative meaning where I didn't need to. Signs are our own inner self projecting meaning into the world, our higher self. There's nothing wrong with this, unless you forget that you're the one which is creating the meaning. So, as long as you are looking for the positive, as long as you don't give a single thought to any negative experience, you can look for signs all you want, but be careful. The moment you start looking for negative signs, the universe really messes with you. Thank you, Isabella, for your rose. Ivruk, you're talking about good or bad science. Perhaps I'm not clear. We're talking about signs, S-I-G-N-S. But we can talk about science too. They're a little different concepts. That's a great way of putting it, Tatvamasi. You are presented with what you ask for. Thank you, Isabella, for your rose a minute ago. Radhe Radhe. And Linda, thank you for your 7 roses. Hello, Mermander. Nice to see you again. And Chloe, you share you just got done meditating. Well, I hope it was a lovely experience for you. Zayli, you are wondering, do I have any wisdom for feeling safe and sturdy in our inner world? Let go. Be groundless. Be free floating. It's the nature of the external world to have solid ground, but our inner world is completely open and it flows freely. Instead of finding rigidity, instead of finding stability, let us instead be free. Recognize that your true self contains this whole experience. Haven't you noticed? When you look down, you see your body. When you close your eyes, you hear your breath. You feel everything from the top of your head to the tip of your toes. This whole experience is inside your awareness. And you are the awareness. So you are that which contains this whole experience. You have no boundary. You are unlimited. You are safe not because nothing can get to you, but because everything is inside you. It's like trying to fight the ocean, You can splash the water and try to push the waves, but you could never damage the waters. They just flow, and they will come back to the space once no pressure, no force is being acted on. It's like trying to blow up the water. You throw a bomb in the ocean, sploosh, creates a big cavity. But as soon as there's no air pressure, it just fills in again. Consciousness is very similar to this. A very intense experience can create a void, but your awareness naturally flows back in, creates a homogeneous equilibrium again. Sometimes it just takes time. That's all. Water is the least sturdy thing there is. But if you know how to swim, if you know how to float, then you can be free, ride the wave, go with the flow. Be like water, my friend. Yes, I love that, Vanessa. And thank you, Hairspray Betty, for your tiny yippee, and Gulai. Thank you for your rose. Radhe Radhe. Mermander, you are wondering, do I have any advice for dealing with fear of uncertainty? It's something that you're working on. Remember that uncertainty just means possibility. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. And our job isn't to invest in a certain possibility, it's to maximize the possibility. The best way to live is one where no matter what the outcome is, you know that you are possible of achieving anything. You know that nothing can truly limit your potential. There's no way to be certain about anything besides this. You can be certain that no matter what comes your way, you will be able to make do with it. You will be able to play the hand you are dealt. You will be able to take what comes and rearrange it another way and send it back off into the universe. You are the ultimate combinator. Thank you, Gulai, for another rose. Hello, dear Brandon Rogers. Orla, you share that sometimes you think Yam's voice is always so calm. Then you return and it's even calmer than you remember. Well, on ASMR Sundays, I try to ensure that the space is super relaxing. Orla, you share that you love that my spiritual messages are based on agency and autonomy. Those are wonderful words. I'm not familiar with that kind of meditation, Troy, but there are many kinds of meditations. Oh, was it a, I see, it was a typo for transcendental. Trentangental. I see, that makes sense. TM meditation, it was popularized by the Beatles. Comes from an ashram on the banks of the Ganges rivers at the foothills of the Himalayas in North India, in a town called Rishikesh. I know that my grandmother was interested in it for a little while. I don't really know much about it other than some general history. All meditation can be transcendental. Mantra meditation is one of the most powerful forms of meditation. You can easily get into a trance-like state just by saying the same thing over and over again. Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. You just do that for 20 minutes. Om Mani Padme Hum. Thinking about the meaning. Oh, the jewel at the center of the lotus. Oh, the jewel at the center of the lotus. The jewel at the center of the lotus. You will certainly unlock transcendental states of mind. Tyler, you share that you get so disoriented. It feels like you're in a gyroscope if you meditate for a long time. Maybe you would benefit from a walking meditation or a meditation that keeps your eyes open. Those are great. Very funny, Havertus. And thank you, Betty Elf, for your rose. Radhe Radhe. Troy, you share that you wonder if the benefit is the frequency from mantra. If there's anything we know about how our material universe works, that everything is relative. That the speed at which a car is going is relative to the place you measure it from. You could be driving 80 miles per hour on the highway, but relative to the car next to you, you're not moving. Similarly, you could sing a song in one key, and if you transpose it into another key, it just sounds like the same song, just higher pitch or lower pitch. But something does change if you change the relative measures, the relative ratios between the frequencies. Like, if you take one note, and above it you have 3 semitones higher, a second note, and above it 4 more semitones, that's a minor chord. And it doesn't matter where you start the minor chord, a minor chord always sounds like a minor chord. But if you take that middle note and you move it up 1 semitone, now the ratio is 4:3 from lower to higher. Now you've created a major chord, and that definitely has a different feeling to it, no matter where you play it. So changing a song from a minor key to a major key, now that has a different feeling to it altogether. This is to say that no frequency by itself has any inherent meaning, but the ratios, the interplay between frequencies making chords. Absolutely. So the melody, definitely. But also the meaning, of course. The meaning of mantras. If you're thinking about volleyballs, while you're doing Om Mani Padme Hum, you'll get a very different state of mind. Unless you're thinking about the jewel at the center of the lotus and the feelings that you create in the heart while you do it. Thank you, Betty L, for your popcorn too. And Anazek, thank you for your ice cream cone and your trio of roses. Do I play the piano? Asks Laura. No, I do not. Though there is a piano that I bought once, a keyboard rather, and I didn't really learn how to play it. And Troy, you were also wondering, are we best at a certain vibrational state? We are best as we adapt to the situation. The best kind of advice is the one that's really specific to the current circumstance. The best kind of feeling is the one that validates you in this moment. The best kind of tone is the one that can speak to the heart of whoever you're with. It's not about being in any given way. It's how we can flow from one way to another. Isn't it? Thank you, John F. Thank you for your team bracelet. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Tyler Sharak, thank you for your team bracelet too. Om Dum Durgaye Namaha. And thank you, Betty Out, for your pair of roses. Om Namah Shivaya. I like your questions, Troy. You ask, is life the music of vibrational frequencies? Everything is vibrating. Our ears work based on the vibration of air. Our eyes work based on the vibration of the electromagnetic field. Our taste works based on the vibration of molecules. Smell as well. Our feeling works based on the vibration of friction, temperature, kinetic energy. Without vibration, this universe would not be perceptible, because if nothing was moving, there'd be no detection to it. There'd be no dynamism. There'd be nothing to experience. This has been the conclusion of centuries of physical study of the universe. Now, if you look at the most important equation in all of physics, the Schrödinger equation describing the wave function, you'll find that the only solutions to those wave functions are that which allows for waves. That's why it's called a wave function. And waves, they have peaks, they have troughs, they alternate between phases. And this has been the conclusion of the ancient rishis, the seers of the Himalayas, several thousand years ago, who said that this whole universe exists in motion, in vibration. It is the song, it is the dance of the source, the ever still one beneath it, the stage. Thank you, Betty Elf, for your tiny. Yippee! And Lauren, thank you for your 10 tiny tinies. Yahoo! Linda, you ask, do I believe that our fear is a feeling that is telling us that we need to work introspectively? Absolutely. And I know this because that's clearly an association that you have made from your own experience. And if it is true in your own experience, then it is true for you. What fear might mean in other contexts to other people, I can't speak for you. But if this is what it means for you, then you're right. Thank you, Golay. Now, why don't we read from another section of the Bhagavad Gita? This lovely Buddhist nun has always some wise words to say, and just look at her smile. Now, I had a list of all of the ones that we read so far, and assuming I didn't misplace it, which I think I did, I don't know which ones we haven't read yet. Here, we haven't read this one. 82. This will be a short one. This one is called Abandon Hope. 82. Only a Buddhist can tell you to abandon hope and have it have a peaceful message behind it. The word in Tibetan for hope is rewa. The word for fear is dokpa. More commonly, the word redok is used, which combines the two. Hope and fear is a feeling with two sides. As long as there's one, there's always the other. This redok is the root of our pain. In a world of hope and fear, we always have to change the channel, change the temperature, change the music, because something is getting uneasy, something is getting restless, something is beginning to hurt, and we keep looking for alternatives. In a non-theistic state of mind, abandoning hope is an affirmation, the beginning of the beginning. You could even put abandon hope on your refrigerator door instead of more conventional aspirations like every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Hope and fear come from the feeling that we lack something. They come from a sense of poverty. We can't simply relax with ourselves. We hold on to hope, and hope robs us of the present moment. Wow, isn't that powerful? That's number 82. Abandon hope. From Pema. I think that's an important point. As long as we're hoping for something different, how can we ever accept what already is? Thank you for listening. The Buddhists have such an interesting way of going about spirituality, don't they? You go up to a Buddhist and you share that you're trying really hard, but you just can't quite figure it out. A Buddhist might tell you, don't worry, give up. Give up? That's the last thing I want to do. Just give up and it'll be okay. It's a kind of beautiful nihilism where it's not about being depressed and saying that there's no point. It's about letting go of all of our footholds and handholds and just falling into the bottomless pit and then realizing that we'll be okay. That we don't need to hold on so hard to all these things to be upright. We can fall. We can be without ground. And nothing bad is going to happen. I like that, Ches. You could say that giving up is the Buddhist way of putting accept what is. Thank you, Isabella, for your 20 roses. Hari Om Tat Sat. It's faith in ourselves. Shares Orla. I love that. And thank you, Michael, for your heart me and rose a moment ago. Om Namah Shivaya. And thank you, Hybrid Jen, for your quintet of roses. Radhe Radhe. Grateful human, you're wondering, do I know the silent sermon story? I don't know if I do. Maybe you can refresh my memory. I'm unfamiliar with that. Thank you, Michael. You hope I've had a wonderful weekend. Hey, what did we say about hope? I have had a wonderful weekend so far. Thank you. Hybrid Jen, you share, whenever you tried not to care, it backfires. Sometimes our words can be used in different ways. And when you hear a Buddhist say to give up hope, don't worry. It's not about invalidating how much you do care. It's provocative, but it has a connotation which is supposed to put you at ease. As a mother, you absolutely should strive for the well-being of your children and not give up in that regard, but we're using our words in different ways. You are valid in your experience, and Pema is too in her own way, though we might use different words to describe the same experience, or the same words to describe different experiences. Thank you, It's Pidge, for your flowers and give me the vote. Hari Om Tat Sat. Grateful human, you share it. The Buddha flower sermon. I'm not sure. I know that the Buddha talks a lot about flowers. Flowers are a beautiful metaphor. I was listening to Thich Nhat. He was talking about how you can take refuge in a flower. Why? Because the whole universe is in the flower. When you look into a flower, you can see all the clouds in the sky. Because without them, this flower would not have water, would not have rain. So all the rain, all the clouds, the sky is in the flower. The earth is in the flower. The sun is in the flower. Without the sun, there would be no light. Without the light, there'd be no flower. So the flower is an expression of the sun and the sky and the clouds and the rain and the earth. And all of those things wouldn't exist without everything else in the universe in the precise combination that it is. So you can take refuge in a flower because you'll find the whole universe in it. We are like flowers, flower fresh. Whenever we see someone, we can give 2 flowers, one for each of our eyes, and our mouth can be a 3rd flower. And when we hold our hands like this, it's like another flower that we offer them. And our words can be like flowers. So a Buddhist is always trying to offer as many flowers as they can to you. through their eyes, through their mouth, through their hands, through their body, through their words. It's all about giving as many flowers as you can, being flower fresh. It's a good meditation. And thank you, Joss, for your subscription. I'm happy to have you here. I hope you like the sticker pack, and I look forward to being able to connect deeper with you here in any way I can. Hari Om Tat Sat. Magdalene, you shared that any time you have an unwarranted thought, you replace it with one where you give a flower to someone. I love that. And I love that hybrid. I love that you express this in your art. The best compliment you ever got was, I call you the flower lady. Oh. You even have flowers in your username. Well, I'll have to call you the flower lady from now on, too. If you let me. And thank you, Isabella, for your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 roses. Radhe, Radhe. And Jacqueline, thank you for your trio of roses and finger heart. Om Kring Kalikaye Namaha. And Vanessa, thank you for your flowers. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Thank you, Savi, for your pair of roses. Jai Sitaram. Thank you, Savi. And Gulai, thank you for your rose. So many flowers to go around. Someone once said that the earth laughs in flowers. Every time you see a flower, that's the earth laughing. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. I'm a flower. Ha ha ha. Ches, you asked, can we talk more about how karma means action? Yes. Many people have used the word karma without knowing the language which it's from and what it translates to in English. Sanskrit is the oldest language that we know of. People still speak it today. Sanskrit is the mother tongue of so many words and languages. Karma is a very, very ancient word, and it has a lot of layers to it. But by itself, it's just the Sanskrit word for an action. If you say someone's performing a karma, they're just doing something. It's related to the word, what is it? Karomi, which means I am doing. I am acting in such a way. But it has a spiritual significance because our actions have consequences. We often use karma to refer to the consequence, which is not literally correct. If you're having a bad day and you say that's karma, it's not technically correct to put it like that because it refers to the action that this consequence could have been from. The word for the consequence of karma is called pushpam, which means flower. So there's the pushpam of karma, the consequence of an action. But we sometimes use karma to describe the fruit. Sorry, the fruit is phalam. Pushpam means flower. I was thinking about flowers in our discussion. Phalam means the fruit of karma. Phalam is the consequence. There's something called karma yoga, which is the ancient practice of becoming one, achieving union, yoga, with our action, our karma. Karma yoga means we do all our actions without trying to get something in return. or avoiding some punishment. Karma yoga means we offer the outcome to the divine. This means if we ever work really hard and we get a lot of money, it's not ours. That's the money, that's the divine's money. We offer that. We use this money to serve other people. We take care of our family with it. That includes ourselves. Whenever we attain something as the result of our karma, as a result of our action, then we are not entitled to the reward. We offer that up. That's karma yoga. We work for the sake of work itself, fight for the sake of fighting, love for the sake of loving. That's karma yoga. The true gift in life is not what we get from our action. It's the action itself. The gift is to be a mother. The gift is to be a lover. The gift is to be a fighter. The gift is to be a student. It's not what you get in return, where your happiness comes from. And it's a matter of practicality, because if you do work for the sake of outcome, then we can never be always happy. Why? Because one day you're going to have a bad outcome. It's just life. You can do your best, but still get a bad grade, or someone might not like what you've done. So if we're only working for an outcome, then we're guaranteed to set ourselves up to something that's going to hurt our feelings. If we make peace with the outcome before we do anything, then that's being free of the bondage of our action. It's not the kind of action with which bonds us. It's our intention going into it. If we go into the action without intention of getting anything or avoiding something else, then no matter what the outcome is, you will be free from the suffering associated with it, because it was never the main goal. So to be free from the bondage of our karmas, to be free from the bondage of our actions, karma yoga is the solution. To work devotionally, where all of our outcomes are given to the divine, and we only identify with the action itself, the karma. Heneka's world, you are wondering, is there a meaning for growing my hair out? Another Sanatana Dharma follower you've seen does the same. It's just a matter of not trying to make your body in a certain way. You know, we spend so much energy trying to make our hair one way, our body look like this. At some point in the spiritual path, you just don't care anymore. So you either cut it all off or you just let it grow, you know? It's a kind of letting it go. You either let it go or you let it grow, you know? It's not a conscious choice. It's just a natural side effect of no longer needing to be in one way or another. We just let our body continue as it is. Our body produces protein out from the top of the head. Why do I need to shape it into some shape or form to to be myself, you know? Sure, I'll cut it when it gets too long to deal with. But until then, you know, it's a part of my body, but not part of me and my true essence. Consciousness is not defined by what color hair you have. Consciousness is not made realizable by having short hair or long hair or no hair. What we do with our body has nothing to do with our spiritual fulfillment. However, we use our body for the service of others. Our body is the vehicle of the love that we are. Our body is the vehicle of the beauty that we are. And we are here to deliver that love, deliver that beauty, but not become defined or caught up in the delivering of it itself. Thank you, Savannah, for your quartet of roses a few minutes ago. Hare Krishna. And Annika's World, thank you for your 7 roses. Om Namah Shakti Shivaya. And Dagger, thank you for your rose too. Hare Krishna. And Laura, thank you for your rose as well. Annika's World, you were wondering if I would consider being someone's guru. I cannot consider myself a guru because I am very much a student. I very much have so much to learn. I'm always learning. I can be a fellow student and I can share my own notes with you, but I cannot claim to grade your test for you or give you the certifications at the end of our course. I am no teacher. I'm just a student that loves to assist with other studies of my classmates. Hello, Matteo. Karma Flow, you're wondering, who is my mentor and where did I learn all of this? It's funny, you know, once you kind of feel tapped into the spiritual journey, these things just come to you. And I don't just mean that suddenly you wake up one day and you have all these words and stories. I just mean you could be sitting on a bench and 2 people walk by you and they're talking about the nature of karma. And it's like, suddenly in this moment, these 2 people became my guru and they didn't even know it. And by the time they walked away, I had received a lesson. That you could wake up from a dream and you feel like you learned something from it. You'd be reading a children's story and suddenly something really deep starts to make sense. Or you could be scrolling on TikTok and suddenly you find the most spiritual lesson. When you open yourself up to this idea that the universe teaches you wherever you are, then it all just sort of comes to you. And if you make an effort, oh my goodness, then even more so, you know? My favorite method of coming to new stories, new words, because that's all it is, really. It's not like you're gaining new knowledge. You're just gaining new words to frame your own life. New stories to exemplify the meaning that you already hold. My favorite way is just that, listening to stories. If I'm ever feeling like I want to listen to a story, I'll look up a story of a great teacher like Ram Das or his guru or Paramahansa Yogananda or Sri Ramakrishna or Jesus of Nazareth or the Buddha or the Prophet of Islam. You know, there's just so many wonderful sources of stories, and I just listen to them. I never feel like I'm buckling down and studying. I'm just listening, letting life whisper to me through many people, many places. And thank you, Evable, for your heart me a minute ago. Hari Om Tat Sat. And thank you, Chris, for your trio of roses. Now, I wanted to begin to wrap things up soon, as I have a date with my father. We're going to go and play some pool. But before I go, I wanted to answer Danielle's question, which is speaking to me. What if you notice a karmic pattern, but it's so difficult to break? Can I offer some advice? Yeah. No one can run away from their karma. No one can escape their karma. I don't mean this to scare you, because there is an alternative, don't worry. But literally by itself, we have infinite karma. Karma, as we talked about, means action. So how many actions have we performed over all of our lifetimes? Well, it's a trick question, because there's no number that can describe it. It's literally infinite. It's not like one day we'll finally run out of our karma. Oh good, we're free. It's just that the dominant impression subsides, and then the next dominant impression comes up, and we squash that. The next dominant. This is the cycle of samsara. Every time we get rid of some old habit, another one springs up, and there is no end to that. However, there is another way, and it requires a totally different approach. The karmic approach to life is we try to make everything perfect. We try to make our surroundings appropriate for our growth. We try to make our body and our mind conducive to happiness. And you're welcome to do this, but it just goes on forever. You can spend your whole life working on your physical health, and there's always something you can improve. You could spend your whole life working on your mental health. There's always something to improve. You could spend your whole life getting the right people around you. There's something to improve. You could spend your whole life reading from different books. There's always something to improve. You could spend your whole life learning how to be a better friend. There's always something to improve. The karma is never ending. But karma is the law of the material plane. Sharanagati is the law of the spiritual plane. For spiritual happiness, the kind of unending Satchit Anandam, bliss of existence and consciousness, instead of going about it with karma in mind, with what we can do to be happy, Sharanagati translates to total surrender to what already is. Absolute, resolute, unconditional acceptance. That we love ourselves and all of our insecurities. And you know what? We don't have to spend our life trying to tackle, overcome all of our insecurities. We don't have to spend our life trying to fight every demon, trying to battle all of our negative habits. We don't have to fix up everything that's gone wrong. We can just allow ourselves to be. Say, this body is beautiful enough. Our mind is wonderful enough. Our friends are wonderful enough. Our house is wonderful enough. My job is wonderful enough. But that doesn't mean you won't continue to grow and change, and you won't get a job that is more conducive for better friend group or situations, or you won't heal from your traumas, or that you'll never get away from your bad habits. It's just that you stop giving so much energy into making something different and embrace just what peace is offered already. That is true Satchitananda, the bliss of things being good enough. We can still fight for the well-being of others and continue to better ourselves, absolutely. We no longer put our sense of self in the future, however, as if we will be better, and therefore we should be better. We say, I am getting better. I am working on everything I can. I am healing in the best way I can. I am growing in the ways that I can. In this moment, I'm doing the best I can, and that's enough. I don't have to get everything together. I'm allowed to be a mess. I'm allowed to not have figured things out. This is Sharanagati, the highest spiritual law that ultimately will transcend your infinite karmas. Where you no longer feel like you have to be the problem solver to everything. And I hope you find this. It is my wish, and any capacity I have to bless this, please, O universe, let us all feel the bliss of Sharanagati, that one law that transcends our karmas of all infinite lifetimes. Alright. And with that, we're going to beginning to wrap things up for tonight. Namaste, Danielle. I had a question of the day for you all. It's the most important question I ever asked. Okay? And sure, I can spell it in chat for you, Jake. Sharanagati. Okay, you guys ready for the most important question of all time? My question is, have you forgotten that you are enough? Huh? Have you? Jai, you have not? Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Yes, sure, Shakira, well, you're honest and that's okay. Roxy, you have. Grace for peace, you have too. Katie, you share too often. Chris, you have. Every day, shares Ingrid. Maybe, shares Gina. Marcia, you have forgotten. Jake, you share, it's hard to remember sometimes. Sleepy Panda Baby, you have, but you were thanking me for reminding you. Well, you are ever so welcome. Shares the Sydney Marie. You have. Flower Girl Jen. Was it Flower Woman or Flower Jen? Flower. I'll just call you Flower Jen. Split the difference. You always forget Jacqueline. Marcy, nope, you haven't forgotten. No, you haven't forgotten Priscilla. Oh, good. Karma Flow, you have. Well, that's. Nope, you haven't forgotten. No, you haven't forgotten Priscilla. Oh, good. Karma Flow, you have. Well, that's. Sounds like my internet isn't enough. I'm just kidding, oh internet, you are ever so enough. Thank you for all that you do. If it has returned, I think it has, let me know. Good. I was gonna say to Crossfires that, relating with the feeling of not being enough, the best way we can show our children that they're allowed to feel enough is for us to be a role model for that too. I think one of the most beautiful things you could do as a mother is, on top of saying I love you, say to yourself, within earshot of your child, I love myself. And then they start to remember that, oh, I do that too. I want to be like my mom. I love myself. All right. All right, thank you everyone for exploring this inquiry with me. I hope to remind you that you are enough. Jackie, you share that would have been great, but your kid unfortunately had a depressed mom. Aww. And that's okay, because you've shown them in other ways that you're allowed to have low moments, you're allowed to feel depressed, and you're allowed to get help. You're allowed to express your vulnerability. That's so important too. Thank you, Chris. Marlon, you ask, would it work with kids that are not your own? I don't see why not. Yeah. I think it's pertinent that we build a society full of lots of love for ourselves. Thank you, Shakira, for your rose. Thank you, Hybrid Jen, for your finger heart and trio of roses. Hare Krishna. And Marcia, thank you for your trio of roses too. And thank you, Gulai, for your rose. Hari Om Tat Sat. And Discotheque, thank you for your rose too. So, we finished reading In Love at Ease. So we could start another book, but maybe it would be best to start tomorrow's live stream with it, as I will have more time to give to my father if I wrap things up now. I hope you understand. I trust you understand. But I'll tell you the book that we are reading next. We are reading The Hidden Power in Humans by Paramahans Swami Maheshwarananda, all about chakras and kundalini. This is a book from the guru of one of our sangis here, Ushabai. Ushabai is a disciple of this guru, which I had not heard of until I met her. And she offered to send me this book all the way from her homeland in Serbia. So it took a while to get here, but perfect timing, as it arrived just as we finished this book. I think that is divine timing, in fact. But just from judging, some of the wonderful diagrams and things in this book, it'll be a wonderful book, so I look forward to reading it with you all. From Shiva Yogi. This is a more tantric lineage. That'll be fun. More esoteric. But yes, I'm gonna go now. So thank you all for being here. I will upload this live to my ASMR YouTube channel, Yamsox ASMR. And I've recorded the 8th chapter now of the Bhagavad Gita, and I finished editing it. I just have to upload it, which I'll do tonight. So you can look out for that, linked in the link tree in my bio. Otherwise, the reading section is going to be uploaded to the designated playlist in the Yamsox Lives YouTube channel playlist. All the links are in the link tree in my bio. Anyway. Boy, I would never have survived high school if I was a girl. Not allowing your shoulders to be shown. My baggy clothes always falling off my shoulders. I'd be kicked out just like that. Anyway. May this live stream be an offering to Sri Radha Krishna. Radhe Krishna. Radhe Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam, Radhe Shyam, Shyam Shyam, Radhe Radhe. And thank you, Jacqueline, for your ginger man. Thank you, Alina, for your rose. Thank you, Gulai. Thank you, Bobby So, for your heart me and cheer you up. And thank you, Flower Jen, for your paper crane. Where hath mine paper crane goneth? I think Old English is just speaking like Mike Tyson. Where hath my paper crane goneth? I don't know. I wish I could offer a paper crane back to you. But thank you for that, and a disco love too.
Namaste. May you all have a wonderful rest of your present moment. Bye.